this is Maite, and I'm here to continue my story that I started in my previous video about going to the spa. And I shared how initially I experienced all this resistance, and I started making up excuses and reasons as to why I shouldn't go to this really nice place and get pampered for a day, and how I traced it back to the word value. So here in this video I want to share with you how I explored my relationship and my understanding and definition of the word value, and how I then changed it, how I redefined it towards something that I actually want to live, something I can actually stand by. Alright, so remember, this all opened up while I was receiving my treatments at the spa. And by the way, something I forgot to mention in the previous video, it turned out that I was the only person at the spa the whole time I was there. There was no other clients. So all my fears and all my anxieties around the other people and how I would be received and treated were, of course, completely unfounded, because not only wasn't I treated in a mean way, there was just no one to treat me that way. There was no one else there. I was completely alone. I had the spot to myself. So just something funny to keep in mind if ever you run into an experience like that yourself, that, you know, if you start looking and thinking about what all the other people might be doing, well, you know, there might be no one else there. You might just end up being there by yourself. In any case, so back to the word value. So I was laying there on the on the treatment table, and first I looked at, okay, how have I defined this word value for myself? Like, if I look at this word, what does it bring up in me? And immediately I see like an image of a treasure, you know, like a really shiny, sparkly thing. And it's something that you either have or don't have. That's always been my understanding of value. It's something you have. And it's this treasure, and it defines how important you are and how well people will treat you. And now throughout my life, while this was my idea of value, I never found that, let's say, or I could never see that inside myself. Sometimes it would seem like people treated me like I have value, and like they could see that I have value, but me, for myself, it's like I couldn't relate to it. Like, where is this value, you know? So that's the one thing. You know, it's something shiny, something special, something essentially you want to have, but you either have it or you don't have it. Second thing was, because I didn't see it in myself, like I felt like I didn't actually have that because I couldn't see it. I kept looking for it elsewhere. For instance, maybe if I have a really successful career, then I'll have value. Maybe if I make a lot of money, then I'll have value. Maybe if I do a lot of things for other people and make a difference in their life, maybe then I'll have value, because I'll have made a difference. I'll have made an impact, a change. And maybe then I'll have value. So my entire focus when it comes to the word value was looking for it outside of me and looking for other people to tell me, yeah, you have value. Wow, look at what you did. It's awesome, you know. Essentially also seeing value as something I can receive. Maybe I can't see that I have it, but it's something that other people might be able to give me. So here also looking for acknowledgement, looking for validation from other people, and going out of my way to try and do and be whatever other people might want me to do and be, to be able to get that validation, get that acceptance, get that acknowledgement. All right, so that was my, as I started looking at this, I realized, okay, this is how I have been living this word. And I could kind of see all the different moments and times in my life where that very definition of the word value had me running in circles and chasing after my own tail in a way, where I was looking for value over there and I was doing so hard my best to get that, and I ended up nowhere. But let's move on. I'll share a bit later more what I've realized about how the word value specifically impacts or can impact your role as a parent, because that's also something I saw as I was laying there, but I'll get into that a bit later. So, all right, so I had established how I had been living it, and it was time to look at, okay, how do I want to change it? You know, let's investigate this word a bit closer, play with the sound a bit, see what comes up. So from the word value, what came up was the word vale. And vale is a word, it's a Latin word that I learned in school a few years ago. And essentially it means something like, it's a greeting you do when you leave someone and you say vale. And it means something like, may you be well, you know, like be on your way. May good things come to you. May you be well. So from vale, I was like, okay, what stands out within that for me is be well. That word well, wellness. And that was surprising because it's like a rather soft and embracing type of word. Whereas before, the word value, I would think of things like ambition, success, money, career, you know, like these more harder type of things. And here I come up with the word wellness. So I'm like, okay, well, let's make a note of that inside myself. Let's continue. You know, what else can I see? And then I started looking at, okay, value. I can, you know, you have the word value as a noun, but there's also the word value as a verb, to value. And now, value as a noun, yes, it's something you have, something you get, something you receive, something you can see or not see. But if you look at the word value as a verb, then it becomes to value. I value. And herein, if you want value, you can just value. You can choose to value. So that was quite amazing for me because I had never even considered doing that. As though it's an unwritten rule that value is a noun and it's something, and you know, you either have it or you don't, or you can chase it your entire life and you might end up with some value at the end of your life, or you might not. But there obviously is no rule like that. It's only the rules that we make up inside our own minds and our own selves. So I was like, okay, well, what happens if I choose to define value as a verb or work with the word value as a verb? Then I become the directive point because I can choose to value. Now, value is not a question of it's maybe happening, it's maybe being a part of me. It becomes a decision. It becomes a choice. So then it's completely up to me. I don't have to go out there to look for it. All I need is myself. So after I played a bit with the word value, it was time to now redefine it, give it an actual new definition. And so I had value as an act, as a verb, and I had the insight of value relating to wellness. So then my definition that I came up with was to give myself what I need for me to be the best version of myself, for me to be well. So that became my new definition of the word value. And it might seem like a very vague definition, and it is a vague definition, but it is one that you can apply in many areas and parts of your life. But it does require you to ask, okay, what does value then mean as a parent? What does value then mean as a partner? How can I be the best partner? What do I need to give myself for me to be the best partner? What do I need to give myself for me to be the best parent? What do I need to give myself for me to have an effective relationship with my body? Those are all examples and specific questions that I did ask myself and that I started working with for me to create value in myself and my life by living the word value and giving myself the things that I need for me to really be the best version of myself. Now, I said before, I would also give you more context as to why living words or having specific definitions of words can impact, for instance, parenting. Like, why is it relevant? Isn't it a bit far-fetched, to start looking at your definitions of words? But this is something I could see while I was also receiving my treatment. Because there was so much space inside of me and my mind was completely quiet, I suddenly saw that if I had continued to live the word value with the definition that I previously had, where I am constantly doing things for other people so they can value me, I suddenly realized and could see how it would have devastating consequences for my relationship with my daughter. Because, and I'm sure many parents can relate to this or can even recognize it from their relationship with their parents, where a lot of expectation is suddenly placed on the child to fulfill the parent. Where a parent is like, well, I sacrificed everything for you. I did everything for you. And this is how you thank me? But if you have a look, it was never the child's responsibility to give the parent value. That is a burden that we shouldn't place on our children. Our children are supposed to fulfill themselves and fulfill their own value in their lives, but not ours. We cannot place that on our children. And yet, so while I never intended or thought that I would make my daughter responsible for my happiness in my life, that's exactly what I would have created. Because on a deeper level inside myself, that was my understanding and my definition of the word value. And since I still wanted to have value, I would have created it in that way through someone else and have made someone else responsible for that. It's not our conscious thoughts that determine most of our big life events. That stuff lies a little deeper, and through investigating our definitions and relationship with words, that is how we are able to access those parts of ourselves, those deeper layers, the ones that actually determine more of who we are than we might think. Alright, so that's my video for today. I'm going to continue in the next ones to share more about how I've then taken the word value and started living it in my parenting, in relation to my body, and what has opened up from there. Thank you for watching. Bye.